so you're a multi-talented person with skills, pro gamer, leadership. You made six figures coming right out of college. How are you running on all cylinders with Team Liquid right now?
Mm-hmm. There's a lot to handle. Team Liquid is much more than just an esports team. And we have, of course, 11 different esports that we compete in. We have over 60 players. We have over 20,000 square feet of living and office space, both in the Netherlands and here in LA. And so that's just the esports business, right? But we also have Liquid Media, which is an outsourced influencer management company for companies that want to get in touch with influencers within the gaming community, and we manage those activations. And then in addition to that, we have I consider the best production company in the esports space, which is called One Up Studios. And all of our videographers and VFX and video editors and hair and makeup and lighters, the lighting and gaffers, they're all gamers. And so we just fucking get it. Like, we know how to create really awesome video content. And so it's been awesome to take something that was once just a hobby, that you just love doing, is playing video games. And most of the time you lost friends because of it, and your family just thought less of you because you played so much, and to turn it into something that you just love every day, and combine that with some of the business skills that I learned through college in my first 7 years out of college working in the finance industry. So just meshed really well. How I keep it going, I have a quad grande skinny vanilla latte every morning. So that's what gets me going in the morning. So, but on a serious note, it's a lot of the people that we hire. There's no way I can do it all. And it's just having some amazing staff.
So speaking of amazing staff, you've had to jump back in because you were working on all the other expansions that are happening within Liquid. What happened, and what do you need to do to ensure that you don't have to come back to Team Liquid League of Legends so that it's in the right direction for years to come?
Yeah. It's difficult. It's probably one of the hardest problems to figure out, because the knowledge that's required in order to perform at the highest level within this particular game, that's the most popular game in the world, is a scarce resource, and it's not easily obtainable. And we're talking about 5 years of me working within the League of Legends community, contracting over 100 players. I was the All-Stars coach in China, and I just, it's part of my DNA. I get it. I've seen so much. And to hire people that are either outside the industry that haven't had that experience is difficult because there's a learning curve, and there's a handful of really knowledgeable coaching staff members within the League of Legends community from my perspective. So there's a lot of folks that think that they can do it, and they think they can bring kind of that outside experience, but there is a very special part that you would only understand if you know the game in and out. And so it's really finding those people and kind of entrusting them to run the team, and I think we're getting there, but we're just not there yet.
As far as a stopgap, Andy kind of lent you for a price, Doublelift, to kind of help you make sure that you don't get relegated. Mm-hmm. What is that relationship like with the old guard of the old owners, kind of versus the new owners as well?
Yeah. I mean, there's not really an old guard or new guard, and trust me, Andy did not do any favors. I got charged out the ass. So, GIF that he posted on Twitter, I mean, I laughed, actually. And I went to go write a reply, and I was like, wait, there's just no reply. Like, there's just nothing clever. Like, I literally just, I got screwed. Like, I was in a desperate position, and he took advantage of that. But we needed to do something. I wasn't going to just kind of roll over and just let the team and the chips fall where they may. I wanted to try to impact it in the best way possible. So, from my perspective, I think there's a lot of really great new team owners that are within the space. I think Echo Fox and Rick Fox is a great example of that. I mean, Rick came in and he just wasn't like a tangential type of owner in the industry. He was involved, and he used all of his existing properties to advertise and market within his new esports team. And he hired great staff, and he invested into the team house and players and rosters, and went into multiple games. And so there was an authenticity to the way that he was involved. And so I think, instances like that, it's great and it's good. And I was just playing at a charity poker tournament with their finance guy, and it's just great to make those connections and to have genuine business owners that have the right interests, that are running sustainable businesses, be part of the ecosystem. That I love. What I don't like is if there is an impact in the industry. People come in and they just want to maybe spend as much as they possibly can in unsustainable ways, and I think that it negatively affects the ecosystem. And I think also too, if there's owners that come in and they don't treat players well, and they are doing things that are unethical, and they are treating the developers poorly, and that I don't agree with, and so there's no old guard, new guard. It's just more of, there's just some bad owners and there's some good ones. And it's just good to see that there's a lot of new good ownership within the LCS. And, Robert Moore and Michael Moore, great owners, really good people, and they treat their players well, and they've built a lot of success within the LCS community. And it's another great example of a new LCS team.
So in the case that you guys do get relegated, would you continue with the League of Legends team?
Absolutely, without a doubt, of course. It's tough to think about the worst case scenario of being relegated, but it's a reality that we have to consider because we're running a business. And in the instance that we do, we will fight through the NACS and try to qualify back in. An interesting kind of caveat to all of this is that Riot made a post and announced the kind of more permanent positions for team owners come 2018, and that's expected to be at the start of 2018. So that means that we're just kind of one split away from that event happening.
So come 2018, talk to us more about what that world looks like and what you hope to kind of shape it into.
I think there's going to be a lot of additional competition in years to come. Riot has kind of checked the box in having the most successful esport in the entire world, right? But what's next? How do you maintain that kind of position within the marketplace? And for me, I think a lot of that comes through experience and the type of experience that gamers have when they participate in the LCS and within esports. And I think that we could be doing a lot more in terms of providing a better experience for gamers that come to events and watch events. I think we've only kind of touched the surface of what it means to be a spectator within esports. And I think it's almost too much on the traditional esports aficionado, like spectator experience, where you sit in a stadium and you watch the game, right? And it shouldn't be like that. Like, I feel like when you're a gamer and you want to go watch the LCS League of Legends Championship Finals, you should want to go to an experience, a festival, a celebration of the game, and then also a place to meet up with your friends and play and binge game until 4 a.m, and just have fun over an entire weekend. Like, that's how I would see, being able to have a better experience. And so I think introducing more of those kind of authentic notes within the experience of watching and participating within the league. And I think Team Liquid can help push that, both to our fans and work with Riot.